Welcome to Java and thank you kindly for joining. It is June 17th, 2025. It is also Tuesday. There is a lot going on this morning. I can't get to it all prior to the markets open, so I'm just going to hit some highlights. One of the most significant ones is waking to an order to evacuate Tehran from the United States president because there is increased tensions there. That is moving the markets quite a bit. We've also got in numbers, gold has overtaken the euro in global reserves. So massive move globally to risk off in the long term. So let's take a look at what is moving markets this morning. We've got the fear greed meter still at 62. So yesterday markets went green as we had expected. There's quite a bit still in there, if you will. Had a bit of a run yesterday, and a lot of money pouring into these sectors. Now we're watching it drain off this morning on the geopolitical tensions. 10-year yield dropping, meaning that safe haven going into bonds and the debt market, whether that's speculative or not. We've also got relative strength of the dollar is holding at the moment. So this is very telling for a lot of things. It's still lost a massive amount of strength, very weak at the moment. However, in light of what is going on short term, has gained a bit of comparative strength. Now, Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies have pulled back a bit, still above 105,000. However, these are also showing the shift in the flow of capital. Everyone is bracing, and this is what we're seeing. Now, United States markets right now slightly in the green. Volatility index, though, is increasing. Gold dropping slightly, which I think will probably either hold, possibly reverse in a little bit here if we watch the safe haven go on. We've got oil is going back up, and this is over more fears. Again, Middle East tensions on what is going on for supply factors. Now, there's a lot more to oil, of course, as far as the energy, but at the moment, suffice to say, it's gaining a bit of strength here from these tensions. Now, silver gaining a lot of strength here. We've got a slight bit of a squeeze. We'll keep our eyes on that. It is beginning to hit another resistance level at the moment, but just showing more importantly the flow of capital that is going on with all of these risk factors going on. Now, daily driver right now is risk off on all of these troubles. There's talks of more bombings and some other issues. So the flow of capital right now is not so much looking to make money, but rather to preserve capital in times such as this. Now, there's talk about a new regime for Iran. It's no longer about a territorial or resource disputes, but they're finally allowing to say what is going on, that they want a new political change here going on. And that's a lot of speculation there that I'm not going to speak about here. Hopefully this video will make it out as it is. Now we've got Zuckerberg, Sam Altman, and Google. They are pursuing the largest super intelligence project going forward. We're going to be hearing more about this. And in my opinion, from what I have seen, I don't have anything absolutely solid yet, but what it looks like is that they've seen the eye of the competition coming from Asia as well as one from India, and they feel as if they're losing ground. So now we've got them not just teaming up, but also in their super race for the super intelligence. There was at one time a talk about safety, and that has all gone out the window because now there's massive amount of funds at stake. So I want to take a look at the calendar right now. We just got retail sales. We are getting, industrial production, a few other numbers, but really what's on deck is tomorrow is Wednesday. Everyone's looking at the FOMC. So not so much the rate decision because no one expects them to cut, but rather what Jerome Powell says afterwards in his conference. The market is looking for easy money. They know it's coming. They are looking for when, and they are counting on it. So just waiting to see when Fed Chair Powell says they're going to be starting that. I don't believe it's going to be until September. I've said this before. It still looks as if it is pointing that direction, but we'll see. Now, global crude demand growing marginally less than expected in 2025. Well, I can tell you for a fact that if this artificial intelligence goes forward, it uses massive amounts of power, and countries have gone back to coal. And the one that has the edge on this is China, because they don't have an issue with using coal in order to fire up their energy. Now, green energy demand is not nearly what it needs to be, and nuclear is well and far behind this. So we're going to be seeing an increase in the demands for oil. There is a large supply. They're also playing with the cuts as far as OPEC Plus and all of the geopolitical tension. Now, none of those really have to do with the demand amount of oil as it is in the markets, or really price. So, in a sense, this is more manipulation as far as what they can do with the markets. But the actual demand for crude, the only slowdown I see in the demand is if there is a true recession or depression and people simply cannot afford an increase in the cost, because it's highly inflationary, not just for gasoline, but for all products and all consumption would be affected by large increases in inflation. So the issues that we're seeing now would be nothing compared to what we'll see soon if that is allowed to run. So they've got to manipulate it with whatever story they can. So a few other stories I want to kind of touch on. Trump did leave the G7 summit early. Now, there's a lot of speculation about this. A lot of the, as they say here, the hostilities between Israel and Iran. President Macron said that he believed that it was because he was called in for some negotiating, but Trump denied this had anything to do with this, and saying that it was something much more important, but without really details on this. So that I would like to highlight, not so much for the drama, because I'm not very interested in that, but coming forward, that hanging out there is that there could be a massive announcement, one direction or another, and that is going to be market moving. So, urging caution in your trades, and you've got to head your ones forward now. Tomorrow, Federal Open Market Committee, which his comments, Jay Powell's comments, could be market moving, but we've got these other risks in here. So just a bit of a word of caution, because these markets are very weak. Now I want to go back to retail sales because the numbers came out, and what happened really is this is a lagging number. They're still blaming tariffs, and the only real way you can attribute any of the spending to tariffs is that the fear of this pushed a lot of capital expenditures early for corporations, as well as early buying from individuals, believing that inflation is going to continue, in which case they are correct. It's simply a question of how rapidly. So that would have bolstered some spending, other than if the economy, the real economy, catching up and people simply cannot afford this. So we've got to watch this. The second portion that we're going to see as far as real indicators are going to be jobless claims. So had some of those come out, more and more corporations coming out firing people. Johnsonville is a meat plant. They decided to close that one up and fired everyone with shorter than 15 minutes notice. I believe that was just short of 275 jobs, which in the large picture may not sound like much, but this is the beginning of the snowball roll of corporations that feel they must either cut costs or go out of business. And as they do, the joblessness will increase. So, with this, let's go to the next story. Barrick's top gold mine placed under Mali state control. Now, I put Mali in there because it says state control, and really the point is that resources can be usurped. Now, in the United States, Americans are not so much used to this, but we see this quite frequently in other areas, in particular communist controlled areas. Now, all mining resources are controlled by the state, for instance, in China. And we're going to see more of this. So if you want to stock up on commodities or gold, silver, I would suggest to do it prior to some of these things happening. So gold mines and more of this resources going to become government controlled. I know you're not shocked over this, but the time is coming. And the time is coming very rapidly. We are in what is happening with this turning right now. So if you are not ready for this yet, I urge you to go back, watch other videos, watch Greg Benarell, get as up to speed as rapidly as you can. Feel free to reach out. This is happening now. Now, a twist back to our real economy, as I like to say, OpenAI. Now, this is ChatGPT, Sam Altman again, signing $200 million Pentagon deal. Okay, so this is artificial intelligence signing on to prototype frontier artificial intelligence capabilities for the United States Defense Department. So this is larger even than nuclear capabilities when they first came in. So the race for artificial intelligence and pouring it into defense contracts is massive amounts of money. And this is because this cutting edge technology is what is driving this forward. We are in these times. So once again, this artificial intelligence, we are a war economy. What is driving it right now is the production of weaponry. We've got Germany in the manufacturing, and that's saving them for the moment. And with the United States, the GDP, a large amount of it going through military spending is counted as GDP. And that is what's holding it up at this moment, is all of the war spending. So with this, I'm going to let off. Wish you all a wonderful day, and until I see you again, my friends, resist.